In 2018, we started to see an increasing interest in a more responsible materials for trims and packaging, starting with FFC certified papers or non-wood papers and partially recycled polyester woven labels. To support this growing trend and meet our customers' demands, we released a small capsule sustainable folder working with the above mentioned materials, but also organic cotton, 100% recycled polyester labels, and a few batches in chrome-free and recycled leather. We also had a strong focus on using water and soy-based inks for our paper products, and as we at that time needed to specify such a demand, it has now become a standard. The year after, in January 19, our collection Salt was released, and it contained 28% responsible solutions. Now in January 23, we have a new collection called Arch, and here 93% of it is made of sustainable products and solutions. Today, using responsible materials is at the forefront of everything we do, and sustainability is no longer considered as a capsule collection, it's the main focus. The shift towards more sustainable solutions is also driven by ever-changing legislations. And the legislation on timber imported into the EU, the EUTR, has had a very positive impact on all of our papers, as the need for transparency for country of origin and species are given when you use FFC certified papers. We as a company has been certified since 2018, and as the statistics show, it's a very strong focus in our collections. At the very start of our journey, we also widely used and explored other types of papers like cotton, bamboo, or sugarcane, just to mention a few. All of these are non-wood papers and therefore not FFC certified. They do, however, have other sustainable traits, as they use waste materials from other industries. The usage of these kind of papers are partly the reason for the low FFC percentage in 2019, and also the small dip in the stats in 2022. The non-wood papers are widely used today, and we are always on the lookout for these, as they are equally interesting to us as FFC. The materials we used at the very beginning has undergone quite a development, being much more mainstream and available, as well as the type of looms we are able to use are almost unlimited. Recycled polyester is still a massive and positive trend with most of our brands. We are pleased to see the development from the last few years, moving away from virgin polyester to recycled options. We know that credibility is key when we deal with recycled materials, as the aim for most of these are to look and feel exactly like their virgin counterparts. Being certified under a GRS certificate will provide us with that necessary documentation. Trimco Group is currently working on our own GRS certification for all our locations, and we are partly there, with Hong Kong, China and Bangladesh already done, and the rest of the locations are in process. Before we move on, let me just say that we use the word and terminology sustainability and sustainable items in a fluent sense to summarize more responsible solutions.
So statistics taken from our Sustainable Development team highlight three main categories of particular interest when it comes to trims and packaging. These are circular at 17%, plastic-free at 16%, and innovative materials at 67%. These trends and tendencies reflect our brand's needs to support increasing demand for more sustainable and responsible packaging and trim options. As a trim and packaging supplier, it can be more difficult to implement the many changes we see across the fashion industry at a smaller scale. But while it can be difficult to apply these same changes in such small details, it's not impossible. And we are committed to pushing boundaries to ensure our products and offerings can support our brand's commitments. During this presentation, we will talk about some of the materials available to support the three key trends we've identified, and also other ways trims and packaging can complement our brand's strategies, such as the application of relevant signage to support packaging waste directives, and the use of QR codes and more durable trims to support other strategies such as garment rental models and re-commerce. The first category we'll talk about, the circular category, is the most difficult to set parameters for. In this category, we include any materials or solutions to support fashion's ever-growing need for a more circular future. This category is made from two subcategories. The first focusing on how trims and packaging need to be considered as part of their own loops. The necessity for any removable packaging to be easily recyclable is growing due to increasing extended producer responsibility, or EPR, strategies. The EU Packaging Waste Directive regulates targets and quotas the recycling of packaging waste in all EU member states to put responsibilities onto producers, importers and sellers to pay for the recycling of their packaging. Since every member state must anchor to the regulations in their national law, different rules and institutions exist in each state. Introduction of eco-modulation of EPR fees could see producer compliance costs increase if brands use difficult or costly to recycle packaging. The EPR fees that obligated businesses must pay increase or decrease depend on the recyclability of the packaging that they place onto the market. Those using difficult to recycle or unrecyclable packaging will likely see higher costs associated with complying with reformed packaging waste regulations. This means that brands will have an increased financial incentive to use packaging that is widely collected from households for recycling, as well as to increase recycled content in their packaging. Italian packaging regulations and the French environmental labelling decree are examples of these national laws and have a really strong influence here. While countries rush to improve their recycling processes and systems, brands must adapt quickly to support this while following legislation outlined in these national laws. Brands are encouraged to make it as easy as possible for the consumer to discard any packaging that is not designed to stay on the garment for the duration of its life, and they're also required to support this with relevant disposal instruction or signage where required. Many brands are concerned about the implication that these EPR strategies could have on the size or look of their packaging. Of course, increasing the size of packaging to support waste directives and their signage requirements is counterproductive to minimising waste. Because of this, and to support a simplified recycling process, monomaterial packaging is a hugely desirable option. We are removing plastic windows from boxes, trading plastic hooks and hangers for cardboard ones, and ensuring that removable trims such as swing tickets can be easily deconstructed to allow for simplified recycling. Small changes like these not only encourage consumers to recycle disposable packaging, but they can also relieve brands of higher EPR fees. Intelligent designs and smarter constructions that reduce the number of different materials used in disposable packaging products mean less signage is required. Our latest collection, Arch, demonstrates how signage can be incorporated without imposing on the design or size of packaging products. And while the ability to sort waste as effectively as possible is important, we are also exploring more and more reusable packaging options. Shipping bags that can be reused for shopping, poly bags designed to live on as dust bags, and gift or shipping boxes that can be kept to store almost anything. Demand for multifunctional, reusable packaging is increasing as a result, and again it requires intelligent design to pull off. We need to consider not only the materials used, but also their intended purpose.
So the second subcategory in our circular loop focuses on how trims can be used to support a brand's closed-loop garment strategy. As mentioned in our introduction, sustainability was once a capsule collection, and I think this is where circularity is at for a lot of our brands. For full-scale circularity, That requires big changes on several parameters, and it's not done easily. For us to be able to support our brands in their circular transition, we need to continuously focus on where in the loop we can add value and keep developing our trims with this purpose in mind. There are many ways to approach circularity in fashion. However, it's often at the design stage the main decisions are made. Choosing recycled or renewable materials, considering waste while producing, and deciding if the garment is made for longevity or if it's for recycling. The more of these stages that are designed into a garment, the better the circularity is. However, also recognizing that not all clothes are made to last or to be reused even, choosing the right material is essential. In what ways can trims then play a part of this? Well, inspired by materials and compositions widely used for garments, we have been working with a conventional, preferred and better best fiber schedule to match these fabrics choices and possibilities. We will come back to that a little bit later on. Considering renewable resources, recycled content or monomaterials in our label solutions, helping to minimize waste by always considering the capacity and size of looms and machinery we use, designing care and content labels with the minimum usage of material, but still allowing all the information to be shared. When it comes to the use of a garment, this is the area where it will hopefully be for the most extensive part of time. Our support in this category could be using extended sizing for supporting a good fit, as well as flexible solutions to describe fit on waist tags. Repair kits, so even small repairs can prolong the life of a garment, and even maybe suggested alterations can be added. Additional items like badges can be used as decorative elements, but also as a means of customization, renewal, and even repair. As the need to communicate about garment extends, the paradox of doing so without adding too many extra trims can be solved by using printed or woven QR codes. Re-commerce or reselling possibilities, how to mend and repair, and extra care instructions can play an important role towards circularity. Recyclability of textiles is an area with huge potential. The most common and well-documented way to secure a good recycling is to use monomaterials like cottons or recycled polyesters, as this will give the best and strongest fibers to put back into the loop, fiber-to-fiber recycling. Not all materials available can be recycled after use, and here considerations on durability and how long the life expectancy of a garment is are good questions and should influence these choices. Being open on the content of our items should make our brands able to make well-evaluated choices.
So, moving on from circular. Although increasing, demand for plastic-free and natural materials is the smallest category of our three trends. While consumers may engage with this category the most, it's difficult for brands to commit to 100% plastic-free strategies when it comes to trims and packaging. As brands focus on reducing plastic usage and implementing plastic-free policies, we are seeing two key demands. Firstly, newer legislation such as the UK plastic tax are providing an incentive for brands to rethink their plastic usage, with many brands working towards plastic-free packaging policies. Single-use plastics such as polybags and mailing bags are often the easiest place to start reducing plastic waste. Brands are replacing LDPE polybags with upgraded options that include at least 30% recycled content to satisfy the regulations of the UK plastic tax. In addition to this, brands are swapping LDPE or HDPE mailing bags with more easily recyclable options, like the Pactic bag you should all receive from the fair over these couple of days. We also see plenty of requests for biodegradable or compostable PLA and bioplastic alternatives, but these aren't always the most suitable option due to regional availability, storage limitations, and difficulty when it comes to disposal. For example, not all countries have the infrastructure to support the industrial composting sometimes required when working with bioplastics. Secondly, the hunt for plastic-free alternatives extends beyond packaging and even influences trims such as woven brand labels and care labels. Cotton is still the most popular and widely available polyester alternative when it comes to trims, but we are working with more and more man-made cellulosic fibres, or MMCFs, such as Tencel and C-Cell. Due to construction and production methods applicable to trims, we can face issues such as fraying, colour loss, and high shrinkage. These issues could hinder longevity. Such limitations may not support the fashion industry's desire for garments that are designed to last a lifetime. For example, if a care label made from 100% natural fibres is no longer legible after a few washes, the consumer, or maybe even the latest consumer, may not understand how to properly care for that garment, and this is detrimental to ensuring a prolonged life. There is, of course, a counter-argument to this, and brands set on achieving a plastic-free goal will often accept these limitations in favour of using preferred natural materials. Despite their limitations, there is a certain charm to using natural materials to enhance garments that carry those same qualities, and we are continuously developing new ways to stabilise trims made from 100% natural materials. As digital product passports take hold and we explore avenues like virtual wardrobes where consumers can log and keep track of their garments and the associated care and content information, we may be able to overcome these limitations. We expect demand for plastic-free woven and printed labels to continue to grow, and as it does, the limitations that we face currently will decrease. For example, we've already been able to develop a woven label created from 100% natural materials. This is something that has not been possible up until now due to restrictions faced when it comes to setting up a loom for natural woven label production.
Brands all over have a strong focus on storytelling. We've all seen products like cactus handbags and mushroom trainers. And this is probably one of the reasons why this is our most popular category. Innovative materials are just fun and unusual and real conversation starters. We are discovering ever-increasing material options as technology strengthens to allow us to use what could previously be discarded as waste. There are lots of great materials out there to explore, and there's no doubt that the market has exploded the last few years with materials using even the most unexpected ingredients. However, do these innovative materials then fit into a circular loop? Well, to be honest, most of them don't, at least not directly. Although they fall a bit outside the loop, does not necessarily mean that they are not sustainable choices. By reducing the usage of petroleum and fossil fuel, we have a positive impact on the environment by replacing it with either with byproducts or byproducts from other industries, even using what could have been waste in a landfill. These are all steps in the right direction. And who's to say that these new hybrids will not evolve even further in the future, making them recyclable? Our goal is to offer sustainable alternatives to support all batch categories. And we work with items like felt with or without embroidery. Actually, this is considered a mono-material as both the recycled felt and the embroidery is made out of 100% recycled polyester. We have some bio-based PUs using waste from other industries, like the eggshells up here, that it comes from a custard factory, and also coffee grounds collected from a coffee chain. These are sturdy and long-lasting materials designed for longevity. Agricultural waste mixed with water-based PU or PLA, not using anything that is for food, it's not using a food source. These have a leather or felt-like surface and will also fit for a durable and long-lasting garment. We need to investigate these materials really carefully to secure that they support an ethical supply chain, as most of these fall out the scope of more conventional standards and regulations. Durability also needs to be considered here, as these more innovative hybrid materials cannot always comply to industry wash and care standards. Although the ability to recycle silicone is quite limited, we are really proud to be able to offer batches made with recycled silicone in them.
The matrix sorts commonly used materials into standard, preferred, better and best categories based on 5 parameters. These are climate change, measured in CO2 equivalent in kilograms, energy use measured in megajoules per kilogram, water use measured in litres per kilogram, land use measured in metres squared per kilogram, and degree of circularity, taking into consideration recycled materials, recyclability of materials, and renewable materials. Many brands we work with have adopted similar good, better, best categories, so it makes sense for us to use the same research to apply to garment trims and packaging. Following this model, we have been able to develop trims for a lot of the best, better and preferred suggestions from the Modin fibre matrix. Several of these materials have been mentioned already throughout this presentation, and we're using them in our trim collections. Using the Modin fibre matrix and others as inspiration, we've also included an alternative category in our own programme. This includes some of the materials featured in our innovative material category and also gives brands exciting new alternatives to support their sustainable stories. These alternatives include interesting new blends such as 50% tencel and 50% recycled polyester woven labels. These types of blended materials allow for durability to support long-lasting garments while also reducing polyester usage. This is just another small step in the right direction. In line with the best, better and preferred categorisations from the Modin fibre matrix, we also ensure that where possible our materials follow appropriate certifications such as GOTS, GRS and FSC. We are working closely with our own in-house compliance team and our brand's ESG requirements to constantly monitor our products and ensure all materials used are correctly regulated. Materials that we cannot work with currently, we are continuously reviewing and developing. Development of trims does follow a different process to garment development, and we have learnt that not all materials used in garment productions are suitable for trims, no matter how much we want them to be.
Alright, we briefly brushed on some of the challenges we have for the materials in the trends mentioned already. And sometimes, in the light of sustainability or the wish to choose more sustainable items, we lose sight of a very simple and basic thing: functionality. So throughout development, we are always learning. And while all of the materials mentioned already somehow fit into different strategies, we are more than happy to share these with our customers, but we are also happy to share our knowledge about our items and their functionality. We value ourselves on being transparent when it comes to sustainability and the sustainable offerings we have, and we can help ensure that our brands are fully educated on their choices. While we know that sustainable product development is a new and exciting path to take, prolonging the life of a garment by choosing a strong, durable trim solution is just as desirable. As we have covered already but cannot stress enough, natural fibers are less durable when washed and more likely to fade quicker than, for example, a recycled polyester. Choosing the right trim material will not only complement but also emphasize the expected lifetime of a garment. Longevity also opens up for mixed materials such as recycled polyester mixes, maybe with an organic cotton. This results in a soft and durable label. Blends like this could be considered the best of both worlds, optimizing longevity while still reducing the amount of virgin polyester used. A great interim solution while we continue to work towards developing the natural fibers into options that will be more stable and durable. Maybe in the near future, recycling mixed materials will be an option. Separating them or creating new hybrids, combining the best of nature and man-made fibers. We know that some facilities already mix cotton and polyester fibers to get a longer and more stable fiber for making yarns. We also have to consider global availability. New innovations are often limited to certain locations, and choosing trims wisely with consideration for even the smallest detail is crucial. And having to compromise because of these limitations is actually most likely. Nonetheless, reviewing the past 4 to 5 years and the huge leap that technology and innovation has undergone, the limitation and challenges will be broken down, and as the same raw materials or ingredients might not be available everywhere, similar might offer you an alternative. Most importantly, we recognize that the journey towards a more sustainable fashion industry is an ever-changing one with twists and turns. Well, when we started this journey, our PET from plastic bottles was a fantastic step in the right direction. Now we have a deeper understanding on how to close our own loop using textile waste to create new materials used for trims. Looking back, we know that the end goal is always evolving. There's no right or wrong, and there's definitely not a most sustainable trim or packaging solution. By guiding and informing to the best of our ability, we are excited to be able to continue to support our brands on this journey.
And that concludes our presentation. We're running a little bit over, so you can find us in Hall 1 if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thanks for your time.